Hey guys, welcome to the daily analysis. And how about that euro strength? Watching the markets today, and specifically watching the euro today, it was pretty amazing to see the turnaround and the momentum. Yesterday was a nice continuation. Euro weakness, euro reversal signs looked to be continued, and I was certainly thinking short on the euro dollar as it made its move lower toward that 50 Fibonacci level, which you see there, and obviously just a major reversal in the market, unexpected in terms of technical analysis here. And so today in the analysis, I definitely want to take a close look at that euro and what the new strength means now that we've been in this kind of reversal thinking for so long. And of course, some of the other pairs also I want to take a look at, but I really want to focus on this euro. And I think it's going to be some good analysis and hopefully something that will set you up to make some good profitable trades here in the next few days and over the next few weeks. Alright guys, but before we get into all of that on the charts, I want to take a look at our news because tomorrow is a pretty critical day with non-farm employment change coming out and unemployment rate for the US dollar. Of course, employment change and unemployment rate for the Canadian as well, so both of those big announcements. But of course, when we're talking about the euro dollar, that non-farms could play a major role in that pair. It's kind of interesting because the bearish momentum was continuing downward. It looked like it was heading lower, and then we got that major reversal today, and so it looks like euro's gaining strength, maybe moving back up to the next higher level rather than lower. But then we have non-farms tomorrow, so that could just reverse it right back. We could end up with some serious back and forth depending on how that non-farms comes out. So even though there is a lot of movement and the reversal to the upside was big, it may really rely on what comes out for the non-farm announcement tomorrow and how the market reacts to that. So make sure you're paying attention to that. That's 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time, and should be a pretty big announcement in the market tomorrow. Alright guys, and I just want to quickly cover our terms today. Basically the idea here, as you probably know if you watch the analysis on a regular basis, is that the daily analysis is for educational purposes only. Winners Edge Trading is a free education website, not an investment advisor, and so it's important to understand that any decisions you make with your money is totally up to you, and we are not advising you to do anything. So if you make a crazy trade and lose all your money, we do not take responsibility for that. So be careful and be wise with your own money. Alright guys, so talking about this euro dollar, the first thing we mentioned is that the non-farms could play a big role in this. But again, really, because of all the momentum heading downward here and the little pullback right into the 38.2 fib level and the continuation yesterday, I thought that was pretty much a perfect signal to continue down to at least our next level here near the 50. I actually did get short on this, and of course was crushed as soon as this bar started forming pretty early in the day. It didn't take long till it had already stopped me out. Fortunately, I was long on the euro yen as well as being short on the euro dollar, and so the euro yen long made me back for the euro dollar loss. But regardless, definitely a tricky trade situation where it looked like it was definitely moving lower, came back to test a critical level in this area, and looked like it was certainly pushing lower. So the question is, now that is obviously not the case and it's not pushing lower, what are we going to expect here? Perhaps we'll get the kind of the opposite thing where it'll come back to test this level again and then push up higher. If that non-farms comes out and is very positive for the US dollar, we could see just a move right back down, kind of a back and forth happening here on the euro dollar. And so kind of two options here. Number one, the first option would be to go ahead and look long here, thinking about a long opportunity, taking it maybe into our 132 zone here, and then just kind of hoping that the non-farms will confirm with the technical signs that this is breaking back up, which many times the new signs do confirm technical signs. And then the second option here would be to wait and hold off on this and wait until that non-farms announcement comes out, establishes itself either as negative or positive, waiting for the market to kind of determine what it's going to do based on that feedback, and then wait for a setup after that. So maybe some confusion, some up and down movement, and then if it at the end of the day it ends up being a good test of this level and a move higher, then you have a more exact long signal because you're not waiting on a major announcement, and you take the trade then. Of course, if it breaks down lower, it's a different story. But regardless, those are really the two options as far as the euro dollar. Either kind of making up your analysis now, making a move on this, and thinking that the non-farms will confirm the long bias right now in the euro from this reversal move back toward 132.50, or waiting again until the announcement kind of does its thing and then the outpouring of that ends, and then looking for your setup. So that's the euro dollar. Again, a pretty amazing move upward, and pretty interesting to see that after some really bearish moves and a nice continuation, we've had basically our biggest bullish bar since our pivot up here all the way up at 137, and the move back down. This is really the biggest bullish day we've seen during this entire several hundred pip run, and so we'll see if that has any carry through tomorrow, and then of course next week. Now the pound dollar was not quite so strong. Slightly bearish, almost neutral in the day. You can see did not get enough to break through 1.5 though, so still have that base right there at 1.5 where it's attempting to break. Kind of in a little channel here at the moment, but a break of this level would be a pretty critical break at this point, and perhaps could lead to the continuation of this massive free fall on the euro. So really that's all I'm looking at right now, is highlighting that 1.5 area and seeing if we get the break and what happens. I still don't think, by the way, that it's impossible that it could keep this level sustained and that we could get a bounce all the way up, toward 152.80. If not, really a reversal all the way back up into the middle here. I mean, that's not unlikely either, considering the long-term sideways market that we have going on here. It's not really out of the question that it could bounce all the way up. So, regardless, I think that we'll get a break at 1.5 here, especially if that US dollar does remain somewhat strong, as it is across the board for the most part, unlike the euro that we saw rise against it, the US dollar still holding its head up against most of the other pairs. So a little more US dollar strength, and we'll see this break here. However, I would not count out the possibility of the bounce. So just gotta again be ready for either option there and be able to trade, have a good reaction and a good plan for either direction, and make a good trade. Alright, Euro Yen I mentioned, just want to cover this real quickly because the move today did break through some critical levels. It started below this level, below this trend line, and below this level, and looks like it's going to be finishing the day above all of those levels. So nice little slow movement here, and then all of a sudden the major break upward, and I'm certainly very happy about that, considering that I was long on the euro again and hoping for this break. So now the question is, are we going to get the retest and the possible continuation? The trend line here, for the most part, no matter how you draw it, really looks like it has been broken. So whether that's a sign of continuation and making higher highs, I don't know, but I'd certainly keep a level, or keep a level. I'd certainly keep an eye on this level, right above 127 here, 127.50, and see if we make our way toward that level. If not, get a break of that level and send this euro yen to higher highs. The euro has been relatively weak. Recently, of course, the euro dollar in a major fall, but the yen certainly has the potential to be weaker. We've seen some incredible yen weakness lately. This massive move to the upside showed how much yen weakness can have, and so I would not be surprised if it was able to gain more weakness and move toward these higher highs. And so just a matter of waiting for a setup and a continuation. I'm already out of the trade for my long. My long was a lower time frame and is now far beyond the original target that I sent. So wish I still had it open, but either way, was blessed to have it be 3 or 4 times the amount that I risked on the euro dollar. So the kind of hedge situation there, being short on euro dollar, long on euro yen, worked in my favor in this situation. But anyway, looking like it's breaking toward higher highs. It's getting close to 125, and we'll just wait and see the potential here for it to continue moving. Now, euro pound had an extremely bullish day today. I showed you first that the euro was strong, and then compared to the pound dollar, euro being much stronger, so it's not surprising that the euro pound had a very large day. One thing is that we are still in this zone, so I have this as basically the top area of this sideways market where I'd like to see a break and continuation before getting long. I'd like to see a move into 88 and a break of 88, and then I would certainly like to take a long position at that point in time. But as of right now, I'm not ready to trade it because it hasn't got there. So even though this is a great bullish move and there's a really tight consolidation happening here and we got the breakout, I'm still not interested in trading because from what I see, it could easily come up to this area and make a move back down, and that is not, something that would fit my trading plan. So waiting for a break here and just trying to be patient for that on the euro pound. Hopefully we will get something here in the near future. USD CAD, pretty interesting here. If I zoom up a little bit, you can see the reaction to this trend line area that I had mentioned before. One of those situations where we first got to move lower and it was obviously a fake because it rallied right back up into that area just a few days later, and now it's setting up again on that inside bar formation looking like it wants to move lower. So triple top kind of here, testing the trend line and looking like it wants to move lower. I have not made up my mind whether or not I really think this is a legitimate shorting opportunity for it, or if it's just building kind of this triangle here before looking to go longer and break out. So right now I'm not biased to the short side yet, but it wouldn't take much continuation before it's kind of out of that triangle area and definitely looking to me like an obvious short heading back all the way down toward 101, which would be a great target for the USD CAD if it could just break out and move in that direction a bit more. So USD CAD to me not quite there, but I am excited about that trade opportunity if we see some more CAD strength pushing this a bit lower. Okay guys, and then I will finish up with the odd dollar today. We've talked about the odd dollar, kind of the fakes back and forth here, especially from yesterday's bar that came all the way up to 103 and then pushed back down. However, rebound back in the opposite direction today. So if you were in this trade and maybe you had a stop loss below this bar, should still be in good shape, looking for the continuation perhaps into this trend line. That'd be certainly an area that would make sense for the odd to go to, and so this could definitely continue to develop, just a matter of being patient at this point. Again, there are a lot of support and resistance areas. They're not major areas for the most part, but they do affect the trade because of all the the slow and choppy movement here. It created a lot of points to look at, so that does make the odd a little bit trickier to kind of navigate as it moves, but definitely a very valid opportunity for this to move higher, heading up toward 105. Alright guys, that's it for the analysis. I hope it was helpful to you again, and I really think that the market is setting up great. As I mentioned, the euro dollar will be very interesting to see, and I would encourage you to pay attention to that non-farms announcement and see what kind of setups and continuation and moves we get with that. And of course we'll follow up with that tomorrow during our weekly analysis. Alright guys, have a great day. Be sure to comment or question anything, and I'll talk to you tomorrow.